I always read the ASC emails. I was reading one of my emails and I came upon the mini diversity case competition, and I was like, oh, that sounds fun. I love advocating for diversity, and I've never done a case study before.
As a grad student, I'm really around a lot of people who are doing science and focusing on academic research. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to see what the business world is like and kind of test out some of my skills.
In February of 2021, Career Success hosted their first ever mini case study competition focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion. This competition grouped students together to discuss and present solutions to a DEI-focused case study that was based on real events. The solutions were judged by 2 HR professionals.
You know, these were students that, from my understanding, really didn't have a chance to interact with each other previously.
We came from entirely different worlds. She's a biomedical person, and I'm just like a PP. I'm more of like an arts type person.
I think they had less than 2 weeks from kind of knowing what the case study was to actually finalizing their presentation and solutions.
We met pretty much every day throughout the time, and that really helped. Instead of having long 4-hour, 5-hour marathons, touch points throughout the day let us kind of keep that percolating in the back of our head, even though we were having busy days because Anais had classes. I was doing tons of experiments that week.
I was overall just impressed. The fact that these students took it upon themselves, they took time out of, their coursework, their schedules to do this and to understand the importance, for me is just remarkable.
In terms of like how the judges helped us, they had such good feedback, like things we hadn't even considered to implement. When the judges gave us our feedback, we knew, okay, this is what we need to do. This is how we make it more presentable. This is how it would be done in real life.
I've been basically in education my whole life. I went straight from high school to undergrad to grad school. As you specialize, you're around people who are thinking in the same ways as you. And I think learning skills to not just have the information and be able to give your ideas, but making people around you bring their best ideas it's actually a very difficult skill to foster, but in the end it brings even better ideas and better outcomes.
We're now in a place in corporate America where we understand work is not just work, and life outside of work isn't just life outside of work, it's blended. And so current events, our personal lives, all of those things kind of still show up in one way or another at work. And if we want to be able to show up authentic and as our full and whole selves, it takes us being able to really understand ourselves as individuals, but also having that context of others.
A lot of people, when they view racial inequity and they view these kind of like tough events, they often think there's a right side and there's a wrong side, like it's black and white. But the reality it isn't. And like the case study, we saw that.
And so diversity, equity, and inclusion allows being able to have that framework, that general understanding allows for everyone to show up. And as the students even mentioned, when, there's diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts being implemented throughout the company and the culture, it also impacts the bottom line in a very positive way. And so when students have that and they enter the workforce and they're mindful and conscious of that, it helps the bottom line, it helps individuals in their day-to-day as well as it helps the company.
I was just absolutely blown away with, the talent, the research, the knowledge that these students had that in reality, they didn't have any or very little true hands-on application. And, quite honestly, they delivered the solutions that, quite honestly, I, would compare them to, professionals that do this day in and day out. The expectation really was just knowing that I was going to connect with some great students and they would have some solutions. But again, at the end of the day, they delivered so much more than I even had from an expectation standpoint.
I was just really excited. It made me excited as a recruiter, as someone who's currently in the workforce, to know just the talent that is going to be entering the workforce and their ideas, their passions, their interests. It made me really excited. And also as someone who is in corporate America, made me more of even an advocate to ensure that we are providing internships and co-ops to students, so they're getting that exposure to be able to partner their education with experience to be able to hopefully implement these solutions and presentations in the workforce in the years to come.
As students, we're in this privileged position to be able to interact with people coming from all types of backgrounds and all types of perspectives. So this is our opportunity to really start developing that empathy, which is the foundation of developing actionable changes in terms of DEI and improving society as a whole in our future.